is DDS. We are your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and the man Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. Parker, tell me what's going on.
Man, just refilling my tank off a bye week, ready to get going.
Boom. We Titans definitely need to refill that tank.
Yeah, for the Titans players' sakes, hopefully they had time to refill said tank. Thank you everyone for joining us here on the NFL Reaction Show. We'll go straight to the season ticket holder. What's going on? Any news, updates coming out of the bye? We had some injuries, of course. We had some COVID situations. What's new? Byard okay? He coming back? 2 positive tests?
I'll give you the biggest news. The biggest news is it sounds like Julio will be playing this weekend. So we don't have to be throwing it just to I just forgot his name. Cody Hollister, but I call him McAllister. I just watched Home Alone last night.
Yeah, we will have a receiver.
It does sound like that. And the other big news is coming off of previous week's game, coming up this Sunday, we could have 10 players that were not available to play, at least in last week's game, some in the previous week's games, that could suit up for this game, from McNichols, who's a big piece of the offense. It's a bunch of different people. Long. So 10 players. I mean, that is a massive, massive number. So I also heard a really interesting stat about the IR. We all get all hopeful now when someone gets put on the IR because it only has to be 3 weeks and you could come off of it. So far this year, the Titans, when they put a player on IR, only one player and all those people have come off after 3 weeks. Most have been after 4 or 5.
Yeesh. Oh boy, it's 10 players, huh? I mean, it's like having a whole new team. It's a brand new team.
It literally is. I mean, there's 11 people on the field at a time.
Yeah, compared to the Patriots game, I mean, good grief, they're going to have a whole new team out there.
Yeah, and they're not all no names either. I mean, there are some. I'm trying to remember who they all are off the top of my head.
Crookshank, McMath, Julio,
yes.
McKinney, Smith. I'm looking at the injury report. It may be a little bit dated, but you kind of get the idea. Tart, Adaney, Janoris Jenkins, Nate Davis, David Long, McNichols, Rashawn Evans. So.
Hey, and Tannehill's coming back from vacation with his wife. She posted online. They were at the beach somewhere. I have no idea where.
Nice.
She said was the perfect place to love on each other and refill our tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
that's what I'm talking about.
Get away.
Come on, Tanny.
Has anyone Googled Lauren Tannehill? But y'all go ahead and do that. Now let's get these W's.
I hope he didn't throw any interceptions or have any fumbles at the beach.
That brings up a bigger point to me, Brad, because we talk about, every quarterback in the league is regressing this year. Just look across the board. There's nobody. Like Patrick Mahomes, for God's sake, hadn't thrown a touchdown in the last 2 games, and he was over the weekend. He was 15 of 29 for under 200 yards. It's a problem across the board.
I saw a quarterback that played pretty well. One Gardner Minshew. And I can't believe their coach at Philly says they're going right back to Hurts. It looked completely different, Parker. I watched some of this. I had multiple screens up thanks to DirecTV Sunday Ticket provided by Blake over here.
Yep.
But I saw Gardner Minshew look like a completely different quarterback than Jalen Hurts, and it was for the better. Dallas Goedert's thankful. A 2-touchdown day.
So are you saying Jacksonville let go of a really good quarterback?
I think all 3 of us said that he wasn't really good, but we did question, would he be either number 1 or number 2 in the NFC East?
No.
It's clearly Dak, number 1 in the East.
Hurts should be starting. I know he had a big game, but we've talked about this. He's a great backup quarterback because he brings the fire. He's an excellent off-the-bench guy. He's going to be that for the rest of his career, as he should be. He's really good at it. He's tough to prepare for because he's off-script. But the Jets' secondary's trash. They're probably the worst in the league. He had his Goddard out there, had his weapons, had Smith out there. It's just a different style of offense, obviously, with him. But it's a fun story, but you start him and
Okay.
it's not a long term.
I think Newberry has
All
something
right,
to
so-
say here.
So Blake and I just looked at each other and laughed. As you said, the Jets are trash secondary. Does this, therefore, make Gardner Minshew a better quarterback option? Not a better quarterback, but a better quarterback option than Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, would you like to go back to that game as well? Nick Westbrook-Aquino was the number 1 receiver. The Titans didn't have Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. Gardner Minshew had Dallas Goedert, who's one of the best tight ends in the league, and had the Heisman Trophy.
He didn't throw it to him.
Wide receiver.
He didn't throw it to Smith. I was hoping for it. He didn't throw it to him.
He didn't throw it to one of the best tight ends.
No, he threw it to
touchdowns.
Goddard.
This is just such a terrible argument to sit there and say, well, you lost to this team and that team beat it, so that means your team's better, not as good as that team.
How about Minshew has had a bet one in this one game better than any Trevor Lawrence has its entire year? Does that mean they shouldn't have drafted Lawrence and kept Minshew?
It's something to ponder, and not Christian Ponder, another bust out of Florida State. I'm going all over the place here. Let's see. I wanted to mention something.
Yeah, let's quickly get off that topic.
An article by Mike. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Moratis from at titanswire.usa.com posted December 4th, 2021. The Tennessee Titans are paying 71 players in dead salary this year, accounting for over $28 million. Thank you, John Robinson. The Saints lead the way, though, with paying dead money of $42 million. No, I'm sorry. The Eagles are the worst at $50 million. But I thought it was interesting. I don't know. Maybe Parker's not surprised because every team in the NFL is paying this quote unquote dead money, Parker.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to look at exactly who all of them are, but
I've got it pulled.
I mean, I know the Eagles, Panthers, Lions are all going to be up there. Like, where are the Titans even at on this list?
They are number 11.
13?
Number 11. Detroit has just now taken over Philly at 65 million. Philly's at 62 million now.
I mean, but who else is on the list?
All right, so 3.
Tampa
We got
Bay,
Carolina at 3, the Rams at 4, New Orleans 5, Houston 6, Denver 7, Vegas 8, New England 9, the Jets 10, and then the Titans. Tampa Bay is last. So the most efficient, if you will, at 2.2 million only in dead money.
I would have to look at exactly who they're paying and things like that.
My
I just
resources
don't
are
know.
sports or Spot Track.
Oh yeah, Spot Track does great. I just
Yeah.
don't know the players that are accounted for in that dead
For the
money.
Titans?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got them. Don't you worry. If I can find it. I'm trying to use an iPhone here. I apologize.
This is totally part of the iPhone review we're going to be doing on the Dad Code podcast channel, by the way.
So my question for where's my other windows here, Blake?
For the internet,
Yeah. Oh, there they are. Look at this. All right. I don't know if I want to name all 71 of these, but just to give you examples, Adam Humphries, 5 million, Isaiah Wilson, 4.48, Malcolm Butler, 4 million, Dennis Kelly, 3.16.
Yeah, but you're looking at that. Malcolm Butler that $4 million is less than the 14 he was going to be making. So they got rid of him and drafted somebody. So would you rather be paying Malcolm Butler $14 million to be on the team and being terrible, or to get rid of him and only owe $4?
Yeah. Josh
Same thing with
Reynolds, 1.24, and
Oh,
he's
God.
playing for Detroit.
Yeah, good for him.
Breon Borders over $1 million. Ty Sambralo, however you say his name.
Mhm.
Bo Brinkley.
I don't know. I think you can look at this list. It's gonna shift, right? Like every 3 years we can look at this and they're gonna
yeah, I mean, they're going to fall off. I mean, there's names that are going to fall off.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be it's gonna be a carousel of names.
I
right?
can guarantee you it's been worse in the recent history, after having to pay, probably people like Marcus Mariota and people like that in the past.
How about Cole McDonald, quarterback?
Hawaii.
Matt Barkley's on the list.
That's chump change, dude. That's like 50 grand. That's nothing.
There's some starving people on West End that would like that money. Thanks a lot, John Robinson. You horrible GM.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey, so let's speak. Nice transition.
Speaking of
horrible.
Speaking of horrible, let's talk about the
Let's
Jaguars.
go down to Jaguars here. Jacksonville Jaguars went to the West Coast as we predicted. Laid another egg. 37-7. I didn't get my wish of seeing Ramsey crying, but I did see some shenanigans from Ramsey. I've got a couple of Twitter feed videos of him slamming Trevor Lawrence's head down during a tackle. Did you see that?
I did not. I did not.
Yeah, I did see that on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Jaguars, they got to figure something out.
It's not happening this year.
No, I'm not saying that they're not even heading in the right direction.
No, it's just like when we play a round of golf, you're like, now is not the time to practice. So it's too late now.
Well, I mean, the problem is right now, if you're using the golf analogy, they can't even decide if they're left-handed or right-handed.
Well, they're
not even running. They're not even running the right scheme. I mean, they're using a putter on the tee box. I mean, it's so bad that it's making, if you are a stats guy and you look at Trevor Lawrence's numbers, you think Trevor Lawrence is terrible. It's bad. It's really bad. This is the worst decision ever to hire a dumb fuck like Urban Meyer as a head coach and to let him hire his staff.
And he's not just the head coach, is he? Doesn't he have complete? Didn't they give him complete?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. It's so
Isn't he
fucking
John
terrible.
Gruden of Jacksonville. I mean, can't he draft who he wants?
I'm pretty sure he almost got the rights to say this is no longer Jacksonville, Florida. It's Urban Meyer, Florida. Yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Talk about bad GM.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Shad. Yeah.
Come on, Shad.
Mm.
Head out of ass. I mean, this was just a beatdown. The game, if we're getting back to the game,
There's nothing
the Rams could do whatever they wanted. It was like they were just letting Sony Michel run up the middle every time. They couldn't stop them.
I think Cooper Kupp had 0 catches at halftime. That was a miracle. And then he ended up with like 11 or what did he end up
8
with?
for 129. And like you said, all of them were like in the second half.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I watched some of it, but and also not only were they playing Jacksonville caught the Rams at the worst
Yeah, they did.
time. 3-game losing streak. They had to. I mean, if they didn't win this game, they weren't going to make the playoffs. And now they're right as rain. They're good to go. They look, that's all you need.
So we had another incident with the Robinson, my running back again. So he has the player of the decade, Aaron Donald, strip it. He had 2 hands on the ball carrying. He was going down with 2 hands on the ball. Aaron Donald just makes a superstar play because that's what he is. Fumbles the ball, and then here we go again. Robinson is seemingly benched for 30 minutes of game time. It's unbelievable, man. He was asked about this yesterday. They're back at home in Florida, and Robinson is humble, man. He's a professional. He said, look, I'm ready for the coaches to put me in whenever they need me. But that's got to be eating at him, man, right, Parker?
Do you know what else he said? Because they put him back in at the very end of the game.
No reason for that.
And they questioned, why did Urban Meyer put you in? And he said, quote, this is Robinson, who, like you said, doesn't really say anything. It's just the Lawrence we've seen turn away from Urban, and now Robinson. Quote, I knew the game was over that point. Probably should have just been resting. I'm not sure what the point of that was, end quote.
Yeah, there was no point. I mean, if you're going into, what is it, almost a month now, where this guy is resting, rehabbing, working on his heel and foot, why do you bench him for 30 straight minutes and then put him in with 2 minutes to go in a 37-7 game?
The only thing that can happen at that point is something bad. The only thing. Nothing good is going to happen whenever you put him in garbage time. That's when somebody gets hurt, re-injured, and if you think he's healed and if you think he's actually a good weapon for you, why wouldn't you have him in the game whenever the game is still a game? Because when he was in the game, it was not a game anymore.
No, and unfortunately, Urban got back on the plane, man.
And you know what? Why didn't Urban maybe put James Robinson in because he didn't know who was on the field. That's his 10-2 go.
Oh
answer.
no, yeah, it is. I didn't know.
You're gonna have to ask whoever.
Ask Bernie.
Ask Bernie.
Ask Parmalee.
Bernie. Sorry, Bernie Sandwich. Bernie Sanders.
It might as well be weekend at Bernie's. A bunch of dead coaches coaching on the sideline over there.
I did not know who my running back was.
Ugh, gross. All right, I'm ready to get away from that garbage. What about the news of Big
We're
Ben?
gonna need you to switch fandoms so we can start talking about good teams.
Yeah, no, we even had somebody ask a legitimate question on the YouTube comments. Why are you talking about the Jaguars? I had to stand up for you, my friend. Where were you at on that comment?
We appreciate your comment. We hope that you hit like and subscribe to DDS Sports Talk. But look, I grew up with it. It's something that was instilled with me with my older brother. Pick a team and you don't dare change. So the city of Jacksonville, I have no allegiance to, but the team, the Jaguars, if they go to London, Murfreesboro, California, Idaho, I'll be a Jaguar fan.
Let me tell you, man,
Iowa.
it's okay
Iowa.
to be. It's good to be loyal, but it's okay to admit when you've made a mistake.
I mean, the 90s through the early
The
2000s
90s.
didn't feel like a mistake.
The 90s,
That
man, it's
Taylor-
almost 2022, bruh.
I know. They had a good year in 07 and 17. There's something about the sevens, Parker.
Yeah, it's gonna wait another 6 years, man.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is warming up.
There we go. There we go.
Who may be on his way out? We're looking at you, Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ben. Is it true? He gets a win, 20-19 on a questionable 2-point conversion play that we'll talk about in a minute. But let's first talk about Ben.
Yeah.
Is it done?
You know, there's been rumors that he has told everybody privately and not come out publicly yet, but that this will be his last year. And maybe, just maybe, I mean, I'm not saying that he had a stellar game this week, but it wasn't horrible, I guess. But maybe that'll allow him to play a little bit more free, knowing that there's maybe some finality in his mind. But I got to tell you, it's hard watching quarterbacks that are clearly past their prime, trying to keep it going. I mean, for me, it just looks like Ben has a hard time moving around sometimes.
Am I the only one when this news came out that was like, I thought we already knew that?
Yeah, I know. Everybody acted surprised. I was like, y'all didn't, I mean, you didn't see that already? I mean, it's like he was either going to retire or he was going to be asked to leave.
Yeah, like I just thought last year. I remember it coming this year, they were owed him like $40 million, and they had to restructure it for one last run. I just thought I already remember that him being done.
Yeah, I seem to remember that too. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
And as far as Big Ben's move, he's never been able to move, but he did. He has not looked good this year, but he has looked better than he did last year, even with the 11-0 start. He could have had a monstrous game if Deontay Johnson doesn't drop an absolutely perfect pass from Big Ben. That would have been an easy touchdown. He played good against the Chargers. He's looked, dare I say, better than he did last year. My question is what are they going to do at quarterback next year? Because that quarterback is not on the team.
I think they tried to address it with giving the Jacksonville Jaguars a draft pick for Josh Dobbs. What about Rudolph? Rudolph Dobbs.
It is not Mason Rudolph. It is not Dobbs.
Parker says it's not on that team. So
it's not on the team. Who it needs to be is Aaron Rodgers.
What about Gardner Minshew? He's already in the state.
He's not a starting quarterback.
He's better than anybody is on that team, though.
Oh, he is
Mason
for
Rudolph
sure.
is
I mean, Mason Rudolph and Josh Dobbs. I'm a Josh Dobbs guy, obviously, but he's not a professional quarterback.
He must be awful or something, because I've seen him preseason. He doesn't look that bad, and I've seen Mason Rudolph plenty. Like, we know what Mason Rudolph is. Mason Rudolph sucks. I don't know why they don't just try Dobbs, but he just must be so bad. But Rudolph is awful. Could y'all imagine, though, Aaron Rodgers on that team with those weapons? It'd be unstoppable.
That should have been Najee Duval. Najee Duval. That's what I said.
Oh, God. Okay, flip it. What about Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, the inability to hit the little 2-yard out pass for the win?
I think it was the right call. Piss poor execution by Lamar Jackson.
It was bad execution, but I still thought they could have caught it.
Well,
yeah. But I thought it was the right call as well. That's what Baltimore does. And he mentioned why he did that after the game. One, it's just what they do. So I'm fine with it. But also, and they had like no cornerbacks. Their other cornerbacks down for the year now. They just had nobody to play on defense in the secondary. And I think they were just like, hey, let's win, get this game over, because we're going to lose it in overtime no matter what.
The Baltimore coaching staff gave a lot of props to TJ Watt, like causing a lot of disruption and pressure to make that ball come out a little quicker than he wanted to.
I think he forced 3 fumbles. He had 3 sacks. He only played, I don't want to say, he only played like 38 snaps or something, and was super effective. And people didn't think he was going to play at all.
And I know people coming into this game, it was questionable, would he even play, which I thought caused the line to be a little off mark there. I believe the majority of us took Pittsburgh in the points, but Blake's got it pulled now. Watt had a game.
Yeah, he had 5 tackles, 1 assist, 3.5 sacks. So that's a hell of a game.
I will say this. I think this year with quarterbacks and running backs, there's just no massive number. If I was a voter, TJ Watt would be my MVP right now.
Hard to argue that.
Well,
he affects the game a lot. I know that.
There was a MVP favorite that played last night. New England versus Buffalo. All I can say about this game, 2 things. Oh, the wind. And only 3 pass attempts by the Patriots, Parker.
Bill Belichick just won Coach of the Year. It's over. Wrap it up. It's done. It'll be, what shocks me, it'll be his first time he's won in his career. So with that game plan, with a rookie quarterback in freaking Buffalo, the wind was so bad. I don't know if y'all saw, there was a 15-yard punt. And it's not because the wind was blowing into him. It's because the wind was blowing so hard from the time he dropped it to the time it got to his foot.
The ball moved. Yeah. What is that? Maybe 2 feet?
If
a foot and a half?
Yeah, if that.
Unbelievable game plan. I mean, they didn't even kick the extra point. They're like, screw this. We're going for it. If Damian Harris doesn't get hurt, they may win more easily than they did.
I agree with you on that. It was kind of a hard game to watch, in my opinion. It was an interesting game to watch because you just saw all those dynamics playing out to where Patriots just made their mind up. They're not going to really throw the ball more than about 5 yards or downwind, depending on which way they were going. But, yeah, it was a barn burner.
Guys, I'll admit I loved it.
I know you did.
I love these type of games. Low scoring. That means a big play is
He's
even
used to low scoring games.
Any big play is magnified even greater. It's like a big play goes to a great play. So if I see Diggs with a 20-yard reception, that's like, holy crap. Instead of, 20 yards to Diggs whenever they throw for 400 yards. You know what I mean?
It's like watching a high school game.
I mean, when you run the ball that much compared to 3 passes, yeah, it looked like a high school game.
I'm with you. I love these weird weather games. I think they're awesome. Only thing I wish the field was white. I wish it was just absolutely Snowmageddon out there.
Oh, that would have been great. I might have enjoyed it a little more.
The shot that they showed from the end zone, I don't know why they didn't show it more. When you could see the goalposts, I mean, they were massively swaying. The little orange tape at the top blew off.
It did.
It just was such a cool sight. I wish they'd use that shot more. They had to take down the spider camera before the game because they thought it would knock into someone and kill someone.
Yeah, what was it? The gusts were up to like 55 miles an hour.
Yes, think about that. 55 miles an hour.
I mean, here in Tennessee, we're taking cover.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
55, I'm going out in my yard and have to clean up the next day.
Yeah, no kidding.
Some other shots that were good were shots of brokenhearted Bills Mafia fans. Hey, Don't lose hope, Bills. You've already lost to the worst team in the league with the Jaguars. This was the New England Patriots, and now you find yourself 2 games behind the Patriots.
I was cheering for the Bills.
I was too, as a Titans fan, right?
I think you had to as a Titans fan.
They go from being, whatever they would have been, a 2 or 3 seed down to a 7 seed now. This is just, again, we're talking about regression of offenses. Every team, all these high-flying offenses, Josh Allen has come back to level. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, Buffalo didn't get a win. But, gentlemen, the Detroit Lions have won a football game this year, beating the Dalvin Cookless Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I didn't even watch this game. All I saw was the highlight at the very end and the post game stuff.
And that highlights the key of the game. So with Bill Belichick won Coach of the Year, Mike Zimmer just got fired because you can't lose to Detroit. And at the end, Zimmer's a freaking defensive coach, and he plays this soft zone where they're lined up in the end zone.
That's right.
To allow a rookie that I love, but a rookie to make the game-winning. It was the easiest. It made no sense. It was like they were trying to lose. It's like they were trying to tank the game at the end. By the way, the first win for Goff, not under. So he was drafted by Fisher, never won a game, had success under McVay, goes to Detroit, never wins a game. First win he's had in the NFL without McVay as his head coach.
I mean, looking at these highlights, I mean, Detroit was dominating up through the half.
I mean, it was Kirk Cousins having to throw back to Jefferson to even get close.
I mean, golly. Just watching these highlights, kind of getting myself caught up here on this game. I mean, look, and it was very touching. They dedicated the win to the victims of the Oxford shooting in Michigan there. It was a big deal. And for everybody there at the stadium, and I guess probably, quite frankly, everybody in the state of Michigan. But Parker and I and Bradley were all talking about it. They really play for this coach. They love this guy.
Gave him the game ball?
Yep.
Yeah. Those were my reactions. It's still disappointing in Duval.
Oh, big shocker.
Oh, and they're bringing the circus to town this week, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, you just wait for that.
Bringing the circus to Nashville.
At least you've come so far as to admit that it's a circus and that you have nothing but clowns.
Oh no, there's some good players there.
There's some elephants.
I don't want to spell it for our preview show here, but Titans have lost to the 2 worst teams in the AFC.
Yes, they have.
I don't want to make it to the 3 worst teams.
No, let's not strike out this year with that. All right, hey guys, thanks for joining us on this, our NFL reaction show. Be sure to join us on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. Let's get the conversation started there. Tell me, what do you think about Duval down there? Do they have their shit together? Should Urban Meyer just be left on the tarmac in Nashville? But you know what? We don't want him here in Nashville. So y'all can take your trash home with you. Newberry, closing thoughts.
I'll defer to Parker first, and then I'll close it. Parker, you got a closing thought?
Hey, just tighten up, baby. Off a bye week. Let's get a much needed and hopefully easy win.
There you go.
And mine, Sleepy Adrian Peterson with a touchdown this past week.
There you go.
More touchdowns this year than Carlos Hyde.
He's got it. He still got it. Two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well. Why is he going to